Hi, good afternoon. So my name is Martha Louks. I am Managing Director of Discovery Technology Services at McDermott Will & Emery. So I'm going to tell a little story and talk about AI in the way that I guess I think about AI. So on my first day of work in 2004, I started as a paralegal at a firm here in Chicago. And I remember distinctly asking on the first day, what is discovery? And little did I know that I would spend the next 22 years answering that question. So today I run Discovery Technology Services at McDermott, Will, and Schulte. I manage the platforms, the workflows, and the people who sit between massive amounts of data and the lawyers who need to use it. I started with paper boxes, scanning, and I've watched electronic information arrive and change everything. And I've been at this intersection of legal practice and legal technology ever since. So when I look at what's happening in AI today, I have a pretty specific reaction. I feel like we are witnessing a Cambrian explosion of legal technology. The Cambrian explosion was a period in evolution about 538 million years ago, which is about as long as I have been working in legal tech. During this period, there was a rapid evolution and diversification of life forms, and all of the major body plans for life was established in the fossil record. So things like shells, skeletons, bilateral nervous systems, the fundamental blueprints of living animals that everything is built on today. And I feel like we're living through the legal tech equivalent of that moment right now. So as you can see, over 1,000 Gen AI products are in the market now. More than 200 AI companies have been founded in the last 3 years. New tech is appearing really fast, and I think all of these companies are kind of fighting for survival in this environment. And just like the Cambrian explosion, not all of them are going to survive. The ones that do will survive because they have figured out something fundamental about what the environment selects for. And that's what I'm going to just explore today. Thank you, Kat, I love the slide deck, by the way, and I appreciate, this is for a quote for an expert, and I'm just putting myself in there saying, I feel like I've seen this before. Okay. So let's talk about lessons from e-discovery. What can we learn from having watched technology evolve in e-discovery? Number one, first and foremost, the tool serves the obligation. In practice, we work in a world of exceptions. Any tool that is used to accomplish a task must meet the rigor of the standards for the profession. Okay? The obligation is fixed. The tool has to flex. Second, transparency is trust. And transparency is not a highlighted passage in a document. It is audit infrastructure. Who acted? What the model saw, what changed, when it happened, whether the numbers match when you upload, export, and query. I should be able to retrace every step. Defensibility is explainability, and explainability requires a paper trail that the tool has to build for you. Third, validation is essential for adoption. TAR, Technology Assisted Review, did not succeed because courts trusted the algorithm. It succeeded because practitioners built a framework. Recall, precision, illusion testing. That allowed courts to evaluate the methodology, and trust followed the framework, not the technology. That sequence matters. Fourth, workflow is the real magic, not the tool. The particular combination of people, process, and technology that emerges as the solution. So, we've seen legal tech evolve before. We're in this Cambrian explosion moment. All these new organisms are competing for survival in the legal environment. So let's try to understand what can survive, and let's look at the anatomy of the legal tech organism and the environmental pressures that determine fitness. So kind of an interesting way of thinking about it. Let's take a map of what we're looking at. I feel like we cannot evaluate a tool or a workflow if we don't understand the architecture underneath it. We can think about this as an organism. This is not a perfect metaphor, okay? This is not a perfect metaphor, so just work with me. Come on this journey with me, all right? The point is that these are interdependent systems. So first, the skeleton is like your data infrastructure, all right? Databases, repositories, indexing. This is the load-bearing structure that everything else depends on. It's also the layer that we understand the best. You can see it, you can audit it, and you can know what's in it. So this is the most mature layer in legal tech and the most governable. Digestive system is data processing. Jay Leib invented that. Raw material goes in. Documents, files, data of all kinds, and it comes out in a form that the rest of the system can use. Extraction, deduplication, normalization. It is deterministic. You can trace what happened to your data. The nervous system is where things kind of get complicated. NLP, natural language processing, is like the peripheral system, okay? Perceiving, classifying, interpreting. LLM is more like a central nervous system. It reasons, it synthesizes, it generates information in response to novel situations. And this is the most powerful thing that we've introduced into legal practice. It's also the least governed. The motor system is like agents and automation, okay? This is where cognition becomes action. So deterministic agents are like reflexes. They're rule-bound, they're reliable, they're fully auditable. It's a rule, it follows the rule. LLM, like agentic LLMs, are like voluntary movement. It's adaptive, goal-directed, and it's hardest to reconstruct after the fact. So one thing, just notice on the slide here, the top 1, 2, 3, 4. The top is more auditable and governable, and the bottom is the least governable. So environmental pressures. In e-discovery, we had a volume problem. So we developed the proportionality doctrine. All right, which gives us permission to be less than perfect. We have clawback provisions. We've got metrics. I know you're not getting 100% recall and 100% precision. No, that's not happening. I'm sorry. We can't ask for that. We ended up developing a protocol, and there was acceptance, there was error tolerance built in. The proportionality doctrine gave us formal permission. But the challenge, this framework doesn't really transfer to precision work because legal practice requires an extremely high degree of accuracy. Drafting, advice, deeper analysis, it's a different set of pressures. And we have obligations that run in 4 directions simultaneously: to the client, to the court, to the administration of justice, right? And to the profession itself. So trust requires verification of output, and the efficiency of your workflow is only real if the cost of verifying doesn't consume the savings. So the workflow is really the proof, okay? How do you know, that what you're doing is good and accurate? The successful tools, they don't tell you they're accurate. They give you infrastructure to prove it to yourself. So ask not what the tool can do. Ask what it can prove when you're assessing these solutions out there. Thank you.